Newsflash, Kano's still a complicated deck to play. Let's take a look. Hi friends, welcome back to Nearly Sane Games. I'm Neil, and this is the Armory Report. This week's Armory Event, 3 rounds of Classic Constructed. And once again, I brought our buddy Kano to the match, trying to figure him out, and well, let's see how I did. A little bit of a new deck, modified one of the Pro Tour decks, I believe, and I'll leave a deck list and a link below. Pushing a little bit more towards the blues, a lot of defensive value available to me. But let's take a look. Now, round 1 was against Kano. Huh. I've never played a mirror match against Kano in CC. Okay, I'm going to have problems because I've never played a mirror match with Kano in CC. So, I start things out wrong. So, I say, Kano, I'm going to need more damage. He's going to have good Arcane Barrier. He's going to know how to block that. He's going to want to block that. So, I bring in some Voltic Bolts and Emeritus Scoldings, and I take out 3 blues. I've already done things wrong. I haven't taken out reds, which I should have to replace the reds that I'm bringing in, and I probably should have brought in more blues to have more defense available for me against this Kano. And so I've already done things wrong. I've done something to anger the shuffle gods. I don't know what happened. I did do a pile shuffle and then shuffled it afterwards, but I had at least 2 hands where I had all 3 of the same card in my hand, which was weird. My starting hand was all red, so I decided to send over a Voltic Bolt for 6. Not very good, but actually I sent it over for 5 because I wanted to make sure I still had an Arsenal card and leave myself open to whatever he wants to throw at me, but he doesn't want to throw anything at me. So there we go. He sends over a Sonic Boom, block 3, and he decides to leave the card on top. I have a turn where I Sonic Boom into Chain Lightning, into a Tome, into double Snapback. Not too bad. He blocks some of it, but takes a good amount of it. And his return is a Stir the Aether Winds with an Aether Spindle for 7. Yeah, that's pretty good. I can block 3. He gets to opt 4. Opt 4 in Kano. Real good. I send over a Forked Lightning for 6. Not much. So now we're down. He's at 8. I'm at 13. I figure I'm probably in a pretty good spot. I'm not. He pops his Storm Striders. And I send over an Aether Spindle for 6. Feeling okay. I think I pitched a blue for it. I don't have the best hand for blocking, but I've still got some block available to me. He pops his Storm Striders. That's not good. And he Kanos into a Scolding, a Emeritus Scolding, and sends that over for 8. I don't like that. So I block 3 of it. That's what I have. And then he fires into Chain Lightning for 3, and then a Blazing Aether for 7. And I can't do anything about it. So I'm playing checkers. He's playing chess. He was working on really setting up his hand, and I was playing whatever I had in my hand. And that makes a big difference, especially with Kano. Kano is really about getting the perfect hand, the perfect setup, and making sure that you have the kill when you need the kill. And I didn't do that, and I learned something today. Um, so I'll keep that in mind as we go into our next round. Round 2 was against Azalea, running Arcane Barrier 2. Not really expecting the Kano match. I like that. But so I start out with Aether Spindle into Snapback, and then he sends over an attack. I eat some damage, and Sonic Boom into a Lesson in Lava. I believe I got another Sonic Boom off of that. And he's doing Azalea things and sending over these big attacks that are have good on hit effects, and some of the on hit effects don't matter so much. Sleep Dart, I can probably get away with not dealing with Sleep Dart, and but blocking is tough because they're coming in for 7 or 9 or bigger, and sometimes dominated. So really, I'm not getting the rhythm that I want. I don't have the throwbacks that I want, that is taking cards out of his hand. You really, really, really want to take cards out of Azalea's hand, and you want to punish her for not doing that. And if they take the damage and you don't have a good punishing amount of damage, then it's going to go poor for you. And it was going poor for me. And overcomes a Seek and Destroy, Take Aim, something else with a Bolt and Shot, coming in for 12, plus a Razor Reflex. And I block. I think I dumped my hand on that and blocked with everything I can, and still took a hit from it. So we're down. He's down to 27 life, and I'm at 1. All right. He comes in with a lethal attack. Very lethal, and but he spends all of his cards to do that. So let's take a look at a replay of my response to that. All right, let's take a look at this situation. Attacks coming in. I am dead on board. The attack is rolling in for, I believe, 11, and I have at most 6, 7, 8 block. That is not going to be enough. I need to do something here. I am at 1 life, and my opponent is at 27. So let's see what we can do. First off, it's my opponent's turn, so I can play Cindering Foresight as an instant and opt 3. So let's opt. Well, we have a Tome of Findel and 2 blues here. I think we're going to use that. So we're going to put the Tome on top, and we're going to work on drawing those 2 blues. So first off, I'm going to Kano. Hey, look, it's Tome of Findel. And I'm going to play my next blue, and we're going to float 2 resources to play this Tome of Findel. All right, draw 2 more blue, 2 resources floating. Going to need that. So now we got more blue. Now we can see what else we can do. We're going to pitch another blue to Kano. Blazing Aether. All right, well, that's a good card for us. We have an Aether Wildfire in Arsenal. I'm going to pause here for a second, and you can look at the line and see where we go. Looking for 27 damage. All right, let's do this. First off, Cindering Foresight says, hey, we've got an extra damage to put on the next card we play this turn with an effect that deals arcane damage. Tome of Findel doesn't count, doesn't deal arcane damage. So let's start off. We're going to pop our boots, and we're going to use our tunic resource to pop our boots to allow us to play a card. Then we're going to play our chain lightning, and we're going to use a resource for that. This will come over, and we are starting at 4. Metacarpus nodes activates, and we're going to use our other resource to pump that up one more. Now we've got chain lightning coming in for 5, and we can play something else at instant speed. So our opponent has no cards left over in hand, so all damage goes through. And so 5 damage is going to go through. We're going to pop our energy potion to allow us to play Aether Wildfire. Chain Lightning lets us play the next attack as an instant. We need to let Chain Lightning resolve first. This is one of the problems I had, but we're still going to fix it. So now Aether Wildfire is going to come in. Again, it's on our opponent's turn. But before it happens, we're going to pitch our snapback. And see, I'm already doing things wrong. We're going to Crucible to give us 1 extra damage coming through. So that means that's going to go to Aether Wildfire. Aether Wildfire is coming in for 5. Metacarpus nodes hits, and we're going to trigger that. And we're going to bring Aether Wildfire in for 6. So we use 2 resources from our snapback. We still have 1 resource floating. That way we can, all 6 is going to hit. Again, our opponent has no defense, and we're going to come in with the Blazing Aether. Blazing Aether is going to come in for, it's going to start with that damage that we get from our previous 2 cards that have hit, but we're also going to get the additional damage from Aether Wildfire. And we have 1 more resource. We can use Metacarpus nodes 1 more time. This can come in for 18. And that's our damage. Quite a bit of damage going to their face. Again, they can't block it. We win this round. That's a lot of math, and that's a lot of math I got wrong twice. But he was kind enough to let me figure it out. Understands Kano is a complicated hero. We're at an Armory event. Doesn't really matter. And I thank him for that. But figuring out Kano, figuring out his lines, figuring out what happens when, and how you are able to chain things together takes a lot of work and a lot of math. And figuring out that, doing Tome and drawing the 2 blues gives me more resources than I would have otherwise. Getting the Blazing Aether off the top was lucky. But all those things came together and allowed me to get the win in the end. Very complicated, but I'm feeling better about things. I worked on having a setup there and trying to put together a plan as I got my cards and waiting for my opportunity. And next up comes Dorinthia with Arcane Barrier 3. And Dory's a tough match. And it's difficult to decide when you want to block from Dory, when you don't want to block from Dory. You always want to block from Dory. But it becomes very complicated. And I start out with a Sonic Boom for 4, and on top is Tome of Findel. And Tome of Findel is not a wizard action. So, great. But I'm able to Kano, get the Tome, pay for the Tome, draw 2, and get another Tome, and send over a Forked Lightning for 4. went through a lot of cards, a lot of blue cards, but didn't end up with a lot of damage. Again, he's running AB3, and he's aggressive at blocking that arcane damage. And with Dory is such a difficult hero to block against. And I did what I could. I tried, but I'm blocking a lot. And even my blocks don't end up covering the damage because there's reprise effects, and there's a lot of reprise effects. And there's the new Dory card, I believe it's Glistening Steelblade, that gives Dawnblade go again, and if it hits, it gets a counter each time it hits. And when that card came out, and this is the original Dorinthia, original Dawnblade, but new card in there. The new card only specifies Dawnblade. It does not specify Dawnblade Resplendent like the other specialization does. So I probably should have dumped my hand to block out that attack. I didn't have the best blocking hand. I might have had an energy potion there. And I had a Stir the Aether Winds that I wanted to get in Arsenal. Again, I've got this mindset that I want to be able to set up and make this big turn. And so Dawnblade gets a counter, and that counter stays on Dawnblade for the rest of the match. I could not get the right blocks to get that counter off of there. So that's already a problem. I didn't let another counter get on Dawnblade, but a 4-power Dawnblade coming in every turn is just very difficult to block out. And in the end, I couldn't get there. He was at 28 life. I was at 7. And he comes over for with the Dawnblade, and I'm trying to hold on to my hand. I had Stir the Aether Winds in Arsenal. I had an Aether Wildfire in hand. I had a Chain Lightning in hand, hoping to set up something big. And I had an energy potion and the Tunic counter, but I decided to see what Kano was going to give me. I Kano, and it's a blue Reverberate. So I have nothing. I can, even if I use the Stir into the Chain, into the Wildfire, even if I had resources for all of that, it's still not going to get me to 28. I really needed to find the Blazing Aether, and I just couldn't find out how to get there. So I end up losing that match, and Dorinthia is a difficult opponent to kind of figure out. It's hard to decide when to block, and you know she's got those defense reactions or those attack reactions in hand. You know that there's going to be another swing coming from Dawnblade. You don't want to take all that damage, and you need to apply a good amount of pressure, and I just wasn't able to do it. I wasn't able to find it. So my record this week was 1-2. It's not a great record, but again, I'm still learning things. Kano's still a difficult deck to play, and it's pretty obvious that I should have taken a bit of a different route in my first match. I don't know if... Well, I should have taken a different route in Dory as well, but I just wasn't finding it. And Dory had a lot of great hands that worked very well. So in the end, still like Kano, still like enjoy playing him and trying to figure out kind of the puzzle that is playing that deck. I will not be producing a video next week. Next week I will be in Vegas. So if you're going to be at Vegas for the Uprising World Premiere and you see me there, feel free to say hi. And I've got a team that we're going to be playing the Blitz event, and we'll see how we do. So I'll probably have a recap sometime after that, maybe on Tuesday, depending on how things go. So until next time, I'm Neil, and this has been the Armory Report.